This is WOMMLP operating out of Burlington, Vermont, 105.9 The Radiator. Good evening. It is The Rocket Shop. I'm your host, Tom Proctor, and with me tonight, great pleasure to welcome Julia and the Nightcaps. Hello.
Hi.
It's a pleasure to have all three of you back in again, although usually you come in separately.
Yeah, we're excited to be here. We're excited to be here together. This is we've probably each been here 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, we're
now,
just
in different capacities.
Yeah, we're just talking about prior to us recording. We've got a screen to our left over here with various different bands and solo artists that we photograph after these gigs. And Julia, I think you might be topping the charts in terms of how many times you appear in these photos.
I think so. I think this will be number 4.
If we're gonna get by SNL rules, I think you get a robe next time.
I think so. And then I get like a date with Jimmy Fallon.
Yes.
Too.
Yeah. We'll make sure we'll get Bob to set that one up.
Cool.
Well, we'd like to kick it off with a song. So what have you got for us?
Okay, so we're gonna play a song sometimes.
All right, Julie and the Nightcaps there with Sometime. Would you, although you, all three of you, as we've already said, have been on here a few times before, but we'd like to go around and introduce yourselves.
Sure. My name is Julius Bellman. I play guitar and I sing here in this band. You can use my mic.
Hey, I'm Pat, and I play the bass.
My name's Dan Morris, and I play the drums.
Well, pleasure to have you all back in the studio again. As we were saying, collectively, you've been through several different iterations in various forms, kind of meandering back and forth between various groups. Off the top of my head, I got Navy Train, Diggs, Honey and Soul. Now Julian the Nightcaps. It was the Julian Bellman trio prior to this.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
We've also got Pat from the Lemon Flyers. Dan, I'm sure I'm missing at least one of yours. We're good.
Bad
We're
Busy.
good. Bad Busy, that's the one, yeah. R.I.P. to that one. So, how did this iteration come to be?
Yeah, so the three of us played in Diggs together starting, around 2018, 19, around then. And then I had moved on from Diggs and was in Honey and Soul, and then took a break from music and performing in general. Kind of wanted to regroup and find, that's so cliche, but like find my sound, which I did, I think. So I'm happy that I took that break. And then and then the pandemic happened. So that was that was time for me to keep playing. And then I came on here last year. And then I had decided that I wanted to add some more instruments to my band of me. And I thought of Dan and Pat, and they were so keen to join. And our first rehearsal was like magic and so collaborative. They're like the perfect combination of taking this really seriously and also just being very just easygoing, which is exactly what I wanted. So that's our story of origin.
So you've all collectively played with various different people, and Julia, kind of a question to you really is, you've already kind of noted why Dan and Pat work so well together, but did you know this in the previous bands that you worked with, and it was kind of just lost in the noise for all these other people, or was this just a happy coincidence that you reached out to Pat and Dan and was like, oh, actually, it was these two people that I liked, the rest of them also?
This was a happy coincidence. They were available, I should say. Not to say you guys aren't like busy with other stuff, but and also I think this was part of your question, but this feels special to me because it's all of my original music, which I haven't really started writing until the past 2 years or so. So that's obviously it's a very vulnerable place to be, and I had been in Diggs with them and they had shared their music, so I was comfortable sharing mine with them. And then also I think finally being able to like lead a band has been something I've always wanted to do, and I think these two are just so happy to listen to me, right? Yeah. But it was definitely a happy coincidence that I think also was happy.
Yeah.
Sorry, but lost my train of thought.
You mentioned earlier that a couple of years ago is when you kind of really sat down and as a solo artist, quote unquote, found your sound. Mm-hmm. What was that process like for you?
It was really, really hard at first because I had been performing since I was, 10 years old, consistently every year. And so it really, in 2019, I wasn't enjoying it anymore. Even though I was in great groups like Diggs and Honey and Soul, I just was kind of couldn't find this Goldilocks situation. And I came to realize it wasn't really the band, but it was me. And I just wasn't clear on what I wanted for myself and, what I wanted to, who I wanted to play to, what my sound wanted to be. I hadn't really found my own sound. I was always trying to make songs that sounded like this artist or, sounded like something I heard in this store or whatever. It was really difficult because so much of myself is music, and to voluntarily quit that felt like a huge identity loss, because after that I'm just like a person who works. That's it. Like, I know I have other things, but like music is like so much a part of me that deciding to leave that and like really take some time to see what I want was very challenging. But I also am proud of myself for doing that because it was really hard.
Yeah, for sure. And a person who works is possibly the most depressing description of any human being.
Yeah, that should be my next song.
Well, you said that you kind of really thought about your influences and what you want to sound like, be it someone else that you admire, or maybe just a snippet of something you've heard on the radio or in a store. Coming to where you're at now, was that an intentional process in that you really sat down and looked and listened to the 30 bands that you listen to most, or was it you started playing and it really started emerging that way instead?
That's a good question. I would say the former, where last year I really didn't pick up my guitar too much. I really discovered so many artists last year. All I did last year was listen to new music. I just wasn't feeling really creative to write my own. And then coming together with these guys gave me that more motivation to be like, okay, I have this song, it's really raw, but if I bring it to rehearsal, it becomes this entirely new song with all of these dimensions, and it can be upbeat. And because I was really struggling with like writing my songs in my room and being like, I like all of these, but they're all slow and folky, and I don't want that necessarily. And then I brought these guys, and they're like just shredding, and we were having so much fun. And I can like belt on my songs that I didn't think I could have before. But I think last year I listened to so much music and found a ton of new artists that I really hadn't listened to before. So I think that was really helpful in being like, oh, I can do this chord, and I can also write about this, and I don't have to write about this. And yeah, so that was very an inspirational, influential year.
Especially in terms of kind of opening up to you to new avenues of where you can go with your own music. Is there any artist in particular that kind of really stands out in terms of the person you want to emulate, or at least maybe not exactly the way that they sound, but kind of more the vibe and the emotion that they're kind of bringing over?
Yeah. This past fall, I got really into Madison Cunningham, who's really great. I really kind of identify with her voice too. I think I like to think that we sound the same. I love her. And so she's really cool, and she does a lot of really interesting things on our guitar that aren't necessarily just like the classic chord shapes that I learned in 8th grade. Like, people who come to our concerts or listen to our music will notice that I'm not really doing like traditional things on my guitar, but I'm not also like soloing too. But so part of that is she was very inspirational in terms of like just being like, I wonder what happens if I put my finger here, and here, and then I'm like, oh, this sounds really cool. And then so her songs are like that. And then also I really like Soccer Mommy. I really like her kind of modern 90s Sheryl Crow vibe with like a more techno background, I think is really great. And then I do love Phoebe Bridgers. I listened to her before this to pump up, which is weird because her music's like kind of sad, but yeah, I would say there's so many. I could go on for hours.
Many people said that Phoebe Bridgers' album that came out kind of at the very beginning of the pandemic can really set the tone, musically speaking, for a lot of indie groups, alternative groups. Was that the same for you, or is that just kind of a lucky coincidence that you're also kind of drawing on it now?
I feel like coming, what's the word? I feel like forming this group does feel like a rebirth of some sort. I think in just a new stage of my life, the pandemic really had, everyone says this, but it really gave you the opportunity to really come face to face with who you are. And there was no time to hide under your daily routines to, pretend that things aren't bothering you or whatever. And so I think being by myself a lot, I realized a lot of things about music. And then when the pandemic, it's not over yet, but when we were able to kind of loosen the guidelines and things and we could get together, it felt very nice to have that happen simultaneously.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to hear another song. So what have you
Cool.
got for us?
Okay, so this song's called Debris. Just a second, I'm gonna get my key up. So this one is, I know I just said, I typically don't use classic chord shapes, but this one is that. Nothing wrong with that, though. That's how I learned guitar. I don't really remember how I learned guitar other than just playing, Taylor Swift songs.
They are the classics for a reason.
Right? If you guys want to start jamming in A, if you want. Is that too much on the spot? No? Dan and Pat are going to show you what they're working with. Yeah. Let me love you in any way that I please. I'm tired of trying to be what you need. Can you help me to breathe in this mess that I'm living? 'Cause I'm clenching my teeth. Oh, talk to me with clarity, 'cause it's so damn hard cleaning your debris, your indirect mentality.
Debris there by Julia and the Nightcaps. I love the ending to that song. It was great.
Thank you.
Very reminiscent of the time that I saw you all at Wallflower, actually, maybe 2 months ago, and that was a great gig. You guys, I didn't know what to expect from you. I didn't know if it was gonna be old songs, I didn't know if it was new songs, and it was your first ever gig.
Yeah.
And you brought the house down, and I think what was most impressive was the really the wall of noise that you bring with you when you can.
You don't expect it.
You go from
It's these guys.
you go from like second gear to fifth in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Was that something intentional that you build into your songs, or is it just something that happens
Sorry,
because you
saw
got Dan
myself.
behind you?
There I am.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, on the TV screen.
It's like it wasn't my first intention. Like, it's what I wanted, but like you, I was like, I don't know if we can bring that. And then we had a rehearsal, and they're like, like we totally just sent it, and it was great. So now, like, bringing songs to them, I just expect that. But what I think is so beautiful is we don't have a song that's only, like, really loud. Every single song has structure and has a flow and a dynamic, variety. It always keeps you on your toes, and I feel that with my lyrics, too. That's how they feel to me, where they're very personal, and they can be angry, but then they're really sentimental and nostalgic and sad, and trying to write a happy song. We'll get back to you on that. Those are harder to write. But yeah.
You kind of mentioned how bringing your songs to Pat and Dan here, they come in and it does change, and it goes maybe something quite melancholy to maybe something angry or righteous. Was that something that when you sat down with Pat and Dan, is that something you expected, or was that out of the left field? And if it was, why? Because it's Pat and Dan, and these two like banging on their drums and playing the bass very loud.
Yeah, they're fun to watch. I don't know. I think the question more is like, I definitely did. I expect that. I think the question really is, did they expect my songs to bring this level of energy?
That's a good question for them. Dan?
Quick answer is no. Was not expecting that.
Well,
it's been a delightful surprise.
Dan, what were you expecting when you first sat down with Julia?
I've seen Julia play solo before, and I was like, we're gonna in for a chill night. It's gonna be a good evening. It's gonna be nice, casual, and slow. But you wrangle Pat in here too, and I mean, anything goes.
You're saying that Pat's a bad influence on this one?
Oh no, he's the best influence in my opinion.
He encourages you. That's the best thing you can want from a band member.
That's right.
Pat, how about you? And in terms of when you, Julia, and Dan first sat down, what were your expectations about this group?
They were pretty similar to Dan's. I think, like, knowing previous Julia solo songs.
Old Julia.
And but no, I was pleasantly surprised at I think that first practice that we ever had, it was completely improvised for the most part. And because of that, Dan and I had all this like room to do whatever we wanted. And then as these songs progressed, I think I was really, really happy and grateful for the level of technicality that comes with playing with these two. I definitely I didn't think that that's what this project was going to become, and now we have a lot of opportunities for some pretty weird and interesting stuff. So
yeah,
into it.
And Julia, in terms of that technicality, how much of that is about familiarity, and how much of that is just about just a good cohesive nature of the three of you?
I think we're just really cohesive. Like, I played with Dan in Digs longer than I played with Pat, because Pat came in later and then I left.
Yeah, the two only slightly overlapped.
I think we shared like one show together.
Yeah.
So I was familiar with their skills, and but I hadn't played drums with Dan yet. I knew that that's what he primarily played. So I didn't really know what to expect. What I loved about our first rehearsals, and still to this day our rehearsals, are like we just work really well improvising together rhythmically. I think we each give each other an opportunity to try something cool. And something that Pat said that he really liked is that we all really listen to each other. There can be times when you're playing a show and everyone's kind of just like head down, you know, only kind of trying to do something cool on their end. Whereas like this last song we just played, like I can name 3 different things that they just did that I haven't heard before and that I was like so excited about. Like it's so cool. And if you see us in person in our concerts, like we definitely I think like show it on our faces, like, oh my god, that was so cool. Like it's fun, and every time we finish a song in rehearsal or even at a concert and we know we nail it, we're always like, you know, giddy like kids on Christmas. Literally, like some of my voice memos on my phone from rehearsal, I'm like cackling at the end because I'm like, this was so cool. It's just like my dream. It's just so cool. No matter how big or small we get or we are, like this is 100% what I had dreamed for myself as a musician. So I'm very happy for that.
Again, I'm so glad that you guys all found each other in your own way eventually. In terms of getting things down and recorded, does that improvisation or from track to track does that make it kind of difficult? Because you know the 3 things you heard just then, will they ever happen again? We don't know. So how do you take the best bits of all these songs that you keep playing with each other and distill that into a record? Or is that just not something to even consider? And it's just like, yeah, let's just get into the studio and just figure it out.
I think it's first of all, I think we're really at least very strict on our structure of the song. So we know when we can improvise, but we also know like when it's time not to improvise. And then I think there's a song, I don't think we're playing it tonight, but I had started doing some cool stuff in this like rhythmic instrumental version or part of the song. And we kind of all, after playing it a few times, just picked up on it. And now it's just, you know, unwritten that that's how we end this certain song. So I think it's like a lot of it is just, I liked doing that. You guys kind of vibed on that. So I'm going to do it again next time. And then they kind of know it's coming, or, you know, I know Dan's going to do this or Pat's going to do that. And then I also think just being really open and vocal about something that sounds really cool, where, you know, one of the next songs that we're going to do, like there's this vocal thing that I tried out and it sounded cool, and so now it's a part of the song. And yeah, I think just like being open and vocal about what you thought was cool in the rehearsal, it just makes it stick. You know, you always remember like what nice things people say about you, and I don't know, I think it's the same with music, like those little improv bits of, you know, a lick or a rhythmic, I don't know, change up. I think if someone says that it's cool, you'll remember to do it again.
Well, you just directly referenced a song that we haven't heard yet, so I think it's probably time to listen to that song.
Cool. How many, is this our last song? Or do we get one more?
If you guys want to do a 4th, that would be great.
Cool. Okay, well then let's do Sunday. Yeah. Okay, well then you are going to hear the song that I said we might not play. Cool. I just have to. Yeah, it's a brushes song. We have a brushes song. Cool. Well, this will take a second. Hold on.
Do you want to talk about the song a little bit while you're tuning up?
Yeah. I wrote this song probably about a year ago. The structure of it's a weird tuning, and it just came from an accident. I mistuned my guitar, and then just by one string, and then the song it kind of sounded cool when I kept it that way. So this is what it is. That's there's more to that song. I don't know. It's like one of the most difficult things to tune your guitar and talk at the same time. That's usually when I say like really crazy things on stage that I don't mean to.
I'll make sure I keep asking you questions while you tune your guitar then.
Perfect. Great. I'm just gonna do this really quick, and then I guess I will say as I'm doing this, I write a lot of these songs were like written in my room, or my kitchen, but now I write them next to my dog, and shout out to Marvin, Pat, my dog's name is Marvin, and Pat said he bet me that I wouldn't say shout out to Marvin. Yeah, so there's Marvin's shout out. Love you so much.
So Pat now owes you a drink or something.
Yeah, right. Do you guys want to say anything while I do this?
Pressure's on you, Dan. You're the only one with the microphone
Yeah,
in
you
front
do
of
have
you.
a microphone.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
How's your day, Dan?
It's been pretty good.
Yeah? You
Yeah.
get up to much?
You know, just working.
Yeah.
It's a slow season. I work at Old Spokes Home. Shout out.
Shout out to Old
Shout out to
Spokes.
Old Spokes and
It's now
Marvin.
yeah. It's a slow season now, so we get to breathe.
I have to come in and get some studded tyres off you.
Do ya?
Yeah, I'm not getting a car this winter. I'm going
no.
bike only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Very cool.
Getting after it.
I've done it once before, but then again, I lived in a house of Deb, so it was easier then. Now we're just having a chit chat between friends. So
Cool.
whenever
I'm
you guys are ready.
That's perfect. My parents are probably like, "Who's Deb?" I'm so sorry, but this is the wrong key.
You can play it there if you want.
Okay. See? Improv. Misty Sunday morning, cold toes and yawning. Can't recall the night before I watched you could stop pretending that you and I were meant to be. It hurts so much when you kissed me. I thought I was free. I was free. I was free before you met me.
All right, Sunday there by Julie and the Nightcaps in a different key to the way it's usually played.
Yes,
How did that
I don't
compare?
know what happened. I thought I don't know. I guess I just forgot where it was.
How was that in terms of the way it's usually played? Was it?
It was
an
a little bit
improvement?
higher, I
Yeah.
think. A little higher.
Yeah.
Half step.
Would
That's what it is.
would you say an improvement or just different?
I liked it up there.
Just different.
It's pretty much the same. it was just different, yeah.
Yeah.
But I kind of liked it up there. See,
As long as you can.
happy mistakes.
Exactly.
Improv.
It's what Bob Ross's philosophy is based on.
Yes.
And we should all be following
He's
that.
he's our band mascot too.
I love that. I love the idea of you guys all just practicing amongst Bob Ross's pictures.
Yeah,
that you've
they don't know
painted
that.
yourself.
They don't know that yet. I was
Okay.
gonna tell them later
I
tonight.
see.
But
I see.
spoiler alert.
You mentioned earlier how during the pandemic it's allowed you to kind of start writing about things that you ordinarily haven't written about, but you really feel drawn towards now. So what's your kind of subject now, and also versus what you used to write
Yeah.
about?
I think when I was younger and in college, I think it's more the subject has stayed the same, really. It's more that the my brain just went like me. It's more, I think, like the imagery that I use now I wasn't using before. It was very like I was trying to have my lyrics sound like someone else's, because as a musician, for me, I have a really hard time listening to lyrics. Not to say like I don't like lyrics. I mean, like, I don't instinctively listen to them right away. Like I know so many songs by heart, and I couldn't tell you like what it actually means at the core because I'm listening to the arrangement and the vocals and the harmonies and everything else like that. So this year was a big challenge for me to start listening to what these songs mean, in all of the songs that I like to listen to. So I think this year with these new songs, I'm just able to have a clearer idea, like what I actually want to say. I also will say that like doing a lot of therapy has really, like, I just can't hide behind anything anymore because I know everything. I'm
Your therapist listening in on this one
Yeah.
is tearing her hair out.
right. Yeah, I know everything. I'm fine. But seriously, like listening to older songs that I've written in college or in high school, like I know what I was trying to say, but I wasn't really getting it. I was almost there. I just feel like now my lyrics are just more honest, and I'm more comfortable just sharing it. Like most people don't ask me what they're about unless it's on the radio show right now. So.
Does writing next to Marvin, has that had an effect as well?
It's actually had like a negative effect because he's a puppy and he just like cries all the time. I don't know why. He's a little.
This is why you can't write a happy song.
I know. Jeez. Maybe he should just. What's like the dog version of laughing? Barking? Do they laugh? Do dogs laugh? We should look that up.
That's a good question. Are we getting into an entirely different radio podcast question? So let's talk about gigs. So you guys all played Wallflowers. You said it was the first gig. What have you done since then, and what have you got coming up?
Yes. So we played at Wallflower, which is great. Then we did a fundraiser show for Old Spokes. Shout out to Old Spokes. We played at Black Flannel Brewing Company. We just did a gig at Lawson's. And we have a gig at Foam Brewers on the 17th of December, which is a Friday. Nice. So Friday shows are fun. I don't think we've done a Friday show yet. I don't know. Can't remember. So that's our next show. And then we just recorded 3 songs in a rehearsal space that we filmed as well. So we'll have some videos coming out soon. They're very much just like this, like Tiny Desk-esque.
I like the fact you referred this to Tiny Desk. I do that all the time.
Oh my god, it's very Tiny Desk. It's like, anyways.
Or KEXP is another one I occasionally try and get people to listen to this by saying it's exactly the same as KEXP. It's exactly the same. Same caliber of bands and everything. And in terms of getting in the studio, getting something recorded, is that on the way? There's a wry smile there, so it's definitely thought about, but maybe not executed.
We have some. Dan has the rehearsal space is Dan's basement, and he has some equipment that is good equipment for recording. So we've
convincing.
been doing that. But every musician wants to like rent out the coolest place with all of the cool gear, so maybe one day. But I think we have it pretty set right now. We can just like record any rehearsal and have a video shoot and do it in one day, and we have like just so much to do with all that. So and then finally, before I'll let you play out with the last song, if people would like to listen to you or see you or check up on you, how do we do that? We are on Instagram at Julia and the Nightcaps. We're on Facebook with the same name. We have a SoundCloud that's actually just my old stuff right now, but I want to upload. No, I think there's some of our new stuff on there. Well, the SoundCloud right now is J Spellman, but I need to change that to Julia and the Nightcaps. I'm kind of like half and half. So if you can't find it under the Nightcaps, just look up Julia Spellman. Just call me.
Just give Julia a call. She'll direct you.
I'm on my phone.
Just play a song down the phone to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That also works.
Easiest
I'll also
way to-
come to your house and just talk
play.
to you and play music.
As long as you bring Marvin.
Yes. Well, he might not be invited because he's crazy, but...
So what song you got to play us out with?
This is a new song called Recognized, and we're going to play it. This one's really fun. I like to call this song Railroad Song for no reason except I think it sounds like if you're like walking down a railroad. But that's just me. See, this is why I can't be on the mic for too long.
You're not
I'm
even
only good at singing into it.
You're not even tuning right now. There's no excuse.
I know. I had a whole opportunity to tune, and here I am talking about walking on a railroad. So it's time to start playing music now. I think I start. Gotta remember that one. Have to make it perfect. the fire behind your eyes. I'll always recognize. You never let me be. Someone without mercy. And when I finally cry, you evoke your love.
All right, Julia and the Nightcaps playing us out with Recognize. Guys, thank you so much for coming
Thank
in.
you for having us.
Thanks,
so
Tom.
fun.
Any time, quite literally, as you guys are in here every other week.
Yeah.
So we'll be skipping a week, and next week, Thanksgiving, we'll be back on December 1st with Pony Death Ride. And I also wanted to note that we are also doing the Rocket Shop live at Arts Riot on December 8th. We're going to have Abby Sherman and Eric George both playing that evening. It's going to be an hour-and-a-half special, and we're going to invite everyone to attend, so please come along. More details will be found on the Arts Riot website and the Big Heavy World website soon, but please do come along. It's going to be a really special show. That's everything for this evening, though. This has been 105.9 The Radiator, The Rocket Shop. I've been your host, Tom Proctor, and good night.
Yeah, that's good.
We never ended it like that before.
No, we didn't. No, it was
See? New every time.
New every time.
different every time.